Welcome back, everyone. I'm Josh, and this is the Citystead. So I was out here checking on my garlic. For those of you who don't know, I'm converting my yard into a garlic farm. Kind of a small business, just doing a little bit this year, hoping to expand it further and further. I've been building all sorts of hookah culture beds. That one's 14 foot by 4 foot. I also built a couple different 8-foot beds, and I've used some other space that I already had to plant garlic. As of right now, I'm up somewhere around 627 heads of garlic, cloves, that will turn into heads, which is going to be quite a bit of garlic to start my garlic business with. And you can see a couple more beds behind me here. This one over there, that was kind of buried by the leaves, but it's over there. There's more garlic back there, and there's also garlic in that bed over there. And there's going to be more garlic in that back corner over there. So we'll be working on it. There's going to be a lot of garlic all around the Citystead for next year. So as I was out here planting out all my garlic, and I was using some of my tools that I had, and I thought of an interesting idea that I would give to you guys. I was thinking that I would give you my top 5 tools for the gardener on your Christmas list. Now, one of the things that I've done on my Citystead is build myself a sort of a greenhouse-ish. It's kind of more of a hoop house, but I refer to it all the time as the greenhouse. And this is to help my season, and I'm trying to do different experiments to heat this in very natural ways. So it is real late November. That's why we're in the greenhouse, because it's a little bit chilly out here. We're in Michigan, which most people know is practically Canada. So it's cold, and it's that time of year. But with it being cold and Christmas right around the corner, I thought it'd be a perfect opportunity to share with you some of these tools that I personally use around my garden and that any gardener on your list would really love. Now, when it comes to gardening tools, there are some real essential tools that every gardener should have. My number one tool that is the most essential you should have is a garden trowel. And you might think of it as a shovel, same thing. It's a trowel, something to dig with. It's your first basic tool of gardening, right? You gotta dig in the dirt, you need a trowel. Now, this trowel came from Red Pig Tools, and they're a US based company in Oregon that hand forges all of these tools by hand. Amazing tool. This thing is so sturdy, unbelievably sturdy. And if you're looking to get somebody a good spade, it's worth spending the extra $10, $15, $20 to buy a really nice sturdy spade that will not bend. This one is never going to bend. You see how thick that is there? That is never going to bend on you. Now, you can go buy them one from Walmart or any other places. They might be good, they might be bad. They're hit or miss. With this, I guarantee you they're going to have this spade for a long time to come. One of the other things nice about this spade is it's got this really sharp edge right here. So as you're digging in, it's going to cut a little bit of that stuff and help you be able to dig a little bit better. So if you got any roots in the soil, anything like that, this will help you dig down in there. And this one is a 3-inch trowel. It's a pretty decent size. This is a good basic trowel for what you're going to be doing. There's different sizes you can get, larger, smaller, that do different functions, but a basic trowel is a really essential tool to have. The second tool on my list is a hand fork. Now, this thing looks pretty big and massive. It actually kind of is. This is also from Red Pig Garden Tools, and it's another handmade, hand-forged garden tool that is going to last a long time. I was turned on to this company by a fellow viewer of our channel, Patty. She has her own channel. It's called The Tinkerer's Wife. She's kind of beloved amongst the homestead community in general for her wonderful wealth of knowledge she likes to share with us. But one of the things she turned me on to was this company, and when I saw these tools, I knew that I needed to purchase a couple of them, and I cannot recommend these enough. They're just so amazingly sturdy and unbelievably built, just handcrafted in the way that you would want something to be handcrafted. It makes you very proud that somebody made these by hand and you get to hold it in your own hands and use it every day. And I will probably be using this for a very, very long time. Now, the reason you would want a garden fork is to help aerate soil, break up things. It's just another one of those tools that you like to have on hand if you got to get through something real tough or anything like that. You would switch to this over your spade. It's going to have points on your forks. You're going to have a little more width, right? So it'll be able to break up a little bit easier. And these things have really good sturdy handles and a lot of heft to them. So as you're putting any motion into these into the ground, you're going to have that weight that helps break it down into the ground, and it's going to really push that forward. But a garden fork is a good one. Now this is also 3 inches. This fork here, you can get them in different sizes. You could probably get something a little bit smaller, but a garden fork, definitely something that is a must-have tool for that gardener on your list. Now a trowel and a fork are definitely very 2 essential tools to any gardener, but the next one beyond that, I would almost put at the top of my list. I'm going to have it number 3 because the other 2 are your basic tools that every gardener really should have on hand. This is kind of an added caveat. If you're moved beyond those tools and you want to look for something else, this right here is what you're looking for. This right here is one of my favorite, absolute favorite tools to have. Favorite knives that I own, actually. And this is called a Hori. Now this Hori is a Barebones Hori, and if you haven't seen, I've actually done a video on this. I'll put a link right up there. I did a review of just this tool in particular, and I told you a little bit about the history of it. It's a Japanese knife. That's where it came from. The Hori in Japanese is to dig, and so Hori is dig. It's supposed to be the onomatopoeia of what it sounds like to actually dig. So you go Hori. That's kind of the name. It's a little rundown of it for you. So this one that I got in particular has a nice case to it, and this thing has a belt clip, which I usually just clip it onto my belt as I work out in the garden all the time. It's got this nice snap, so if you want to put your knife in there, you can snap it closed to hold it in place. The knife itself, this is where all the magic happens, and this is Barebones Hori is phenomenally built, well crafted and designed, and they did some things on it that really just make it stand out from the pack when it comes to these knives. One thing that I particularly love is the pommel at the end of this. So you can see that's a nice metal piece at the end of this, and that is very useful. You know, I'm out there pounding on stuff all the time, so be able to pull the knife that I wear on my hip all the time and use it to actually pound on stuff and not worry so much about it, being that it's got a nice sturdy pommel on it. Awesome. They really designed that well. Another thing they did was they put this little groove in here. It fits right in the clip flat against it with this groove out, but it also gives you a place to put your thumb for added leverage. Now the Hori knife has a blade on one side, just an actual cutting blade, and I've cut a ton of stuff with this. I can open boxes with it. I've actually cut window screen with this. Anything I've cut with this knife. It's just, I love this thing so much that I use it like all the time. And it's got this serrated edge on it. Yeah, that serrated edge is beautiful, and that is very good. So this thing actually has a curved blade. You can see that there. So it's kind of like a shovel hybrid, right? It gives you a little more because it's got a serrated edge. So if you want to like cut a branch, if you've got really hard roots that you can saw at a little bit, that's what that blade will give you. You can dig holes with this, you know. This side here, you can cut anything, like I said. I'll tell you what, I've actually even chopped down a small tree with this thing. That is not a lie. Very powerful tool to have, though. Any gardener would die to have something like this in their arsenal of tools. So if you're looking for a gift, I highly, highly recommend this one. I almost put it at the top of the list, but like I said, a shovel and a garden fork are pretty essential tools to have, so they get to rank a little bit higher today. Now my 4th essential tool for any gardener on your list would be a pair of garden pruners. And these are Felco brand, very well built. One thing that's really neat about these as opposed to a lot of other pruners is that the blade side is actually removable and you can replace the blade. So if the blade gets too worn down, it doesn't work anymore, and you can't sharpen it any farther, you can actually just buy a new blade and put it on here. Now this is a little more pricey than something you're going to find any box store or anything like that. You're going to spend, it's like $30, $35 for this. But these things are definitely worth it just for the durability and the ability to just update the blade and continue using them every single day. You're not going to find that with too many tools. So when you do, you know you're going to spend a little bit more money, but you're also going to get a lot more bang for your buck out of this. These are well-built tools that will not ever let you down. You'll have them for years and years and years to come. So garden pruners on the list of essential tools to have. So these Felcros come in a lot of different sizes and configurations with the blades and lengths and angles and curves. You can get a lot of different choices. These just an essential tool to have when you're trimming, little plants, tomatoes, your fruit trees. You can throw it in your apron, you can throw it in your back pocket, however you carry it around. Definitely a tool that any gardener would love to own. All right, so now your gardener has all the tools to actually start the gardening process. Now they're going to grow all these awesome, wonderful vegetables. The last thing they're going to need in the essential tool area is something to harvest all of these amazing vegetables they just started growing with. Or flowers, whatever they want to grow. And that would bring me to some harvesting tools. These are two very simple tools that I enjoy and I use quite regularly. First is this Fiskers set of pruning shears. They're pruning shears, so you can't use them for pruning, but they're like really tiny, right? For small things you're gonna prune. I actually enjoy these for cutting fruits off. If I gotta cut a stem or anything like that, just put this in there, snip, snip, done with it. This is a fairly little cheap tool, but something that I actually use quite frequently, and my kids all use it, and it's fairly safe for them to use. They can cut vegetables with it, greens, tomatoes, anything like that. I think we've even cut zucchini and stuff with it off the vine. But nice little shears that also can prune if you need to prune. Maybe you can cut suckers off your tomatoes or anything. But I like these. They're very handy. Very, very handy to have. So the other thing on my list of harvesting tools would be a little harvesting knife. And this is just a foldable pocket knife size knife, right? You fold it up, throw it wherever you want. Put it in your breast pocket, your back pocket, your apron, if you got one. But this little thing right here folds open. It's just very handy to have around if you're harvesting a lot of things and maybe they're not real easy to break off or anything. This is something I like to throw in my pocket when I will go out in the garden around harvest time. Anytime I'm out there really walking around, these are tools that I would have close at hand or somewhere. Normally they'd be in the greenhouse and I would just come in here and get them if I need them. Except for the Hori that is literally usually always on my side. I don't come out here intending to do any work and don't carry that with me. So I said I was going to give you 5 tools that every gardener should have. And these are the 5 essential tools that I believe would be a great gift for any gardener on your list. But you're thinking, Josh, I know somebody who has all those tools. I'm looking for the next step up. I got one more tool for you. One more tool. And this is a little more advanced tool. This is something that is like the next step in gardening. Normally you would buy like little starters, do your own little starts and trays that you can get. Here, I'm going to show you this tool right here. This is called a soil blocker. Now, with this, you're going to pack it full of your own soil, your own dirt. And when you squeeze this handle, it's going to push that out. You're going to make your own trays or whatever, but you're actually going to make your own planting block with this. That's why it's called a soil blocker. Blocks the soil up, makes a little planting thing for you. It's got this piece on the inside there. That right there gives you a little puncture into your soil as you have it on there. And that is going to be where the seed goes when you start your seed in your soil block. So this is a tool that is a next step up if you love that gardener in your life and they want to go a little bit further with what they're doing, starting their own seeds perhaps. This is the tool that you're going to be looking for. They will absolutely love this and they'll be able to start their own blocks of soil as opposed to using the old trays. And let me tell you, the soil blocker makes it a lot easier for transplanting because you don't have to pull anything out of those little black trays that you can get for gardeners. So soil blocker, bonus gift number 6. You guys will like this for your gardener. They'll get an awesome reaction from any gardener out there if they were to receive one of these for Christmas. So I was editing this video and I realized that I gave you 5 essential garden tools, and then I threw in that bonus 6th one for you. And I actually was thinking there really is a 7th one that I would highly recommend doing, and that one would be a garden dibble. If you've never used a garden dibble, we also did a pretty in-depth video on what it's for and how to use it. I'll link it right there for you. And this one in particular was made by a friend of ours, Nate, from a channel called Sampson Farms, and he handcrafts these out in his shed and sells them. So I will make sure to put a link down there so you can get a hold of him if you're interested in one of these. And he makes some cool different designs, and they're all slightly unique because he does do them by hand. But the dibble is a really interesting tool for when you're planting, especially things like bulbs and larger things. Like I've been planting a ton of garlic here, and I've been using this a lot in my garlic planting. It's got a nice handle for you to grip onto. It's got measurements all the way up. It's tapered about 1/2 inch. And then it's got 1 inch line, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then all the way up to 6 inches at the handle there. So if you're looking for depth of hole, this gives you a good way to measure it pretty quickly while you're planting, and you just put it in the ground, make your little hole, pop whatever you want to pop in there. Your bulb usually is what you would use these for. You can use them for seeds. You're just doing that little 1/2 inch, bap, 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 all the way down. You pop your seeds in, dust it over with the soil, and you're good to go. So number 7 on my list, another extra bonus, a garden dibble. All right, there you guys go. There are some gift ideals for that gardener that is on your Christmas list. If you're looking to buy something, I highly recommend any of these things I just showed you. In fact, I will link all of them down below where you can find them. There are some Amazon affiliate links where I will make a small portion if you purchase through that link. The Red Pig Garden Tools links are just linked to the site. I believe in supporting companies that make quality equipment, and I really believe that they do. So check them out. They have a lot of different tools, and they even do a lot of handmade heirloom tools on that site. So you can get tools that they used to use that we just don't use anymore, that are kind of forgotten tools. But they make all of that stuff, and they can even make custom tools to whatever you want. So very cool company. Check them out. Link is down below with all the other stuff. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hope you get out there and now you got something to put on that list for those gardeners in your life. You can buy them. That's all I got for you guys. See you in the next one.